In lane 2, Jamal Charles, a two-sport star freshman from Texas, running back on the national championship football team. In lane number 3, Texas A&M senior Tyrone Edgar.
And in lane 4, Sharandi Martina. He's from UTEP. He's from Curacao in the Caribbean, the Conference USA champion. He's run 9.76 Windy this year. Next to him, Travis Paget. I think he's the favorite. He looked the best in qualifying. He's from Clemson, just a freshman.
In lane 6, Demi Amole, Big Ten champion from Wisconsin.
And next to him in lane 7, this is the guy that's getting a lot of headlines. He's trying the 1-4 double, trying to be the first person to ever do that, the sophomore from LSU. And next to him, Walter Dix. Now, he's the defending champion. Does not start well. I think he's been hedging his bets a little bit. I think he's going to have a very good race. I think he's been saving it.
And finally, in lane 9, Leroy Dixon, senior from South Carolina.
I just wish Walter Dix would start a little better because he has such a good top end.
And a look at the overall field. There's always a mystique surrounding the men's 100 meters, bragging rights.
And you can't count out the champion. Walter Dix won this title as a freshman out of nowhere. So don't think for a second that he's not coming in here trying to give it his all. We've been hearing talk about a hurt hamstring, but I don't think that's the case. I think anything he has left is going to be seen right here. Walter Dix in lane 8. He does not start well, but if he starts with the pack, he has a very good chance of winning.
Xavier Carter trying to pull off the 100-400 double at the same NCAA meet. You were a 100-200 guy. 400 wasn't even in your vocabulary.
100-meter sprinters don't even want to say 400 meters. That's how much it hurts. Travis Paget in lane 5 from Clemson, I think, has looked the best. He starts well. He's an indoor champion.
And Sharandi Martina running out of lane 4. We saw it in the women's 100 and here in the men's 100.
May not be the worst thing in the world, Ian. It's kind of warm out here. From the time you get down in these blocks, put your hands onto that ground, you hear that sizzle. That's your flesh cooking in that tartan. It's hot.
Another look at the field. Martina and Paget, big names in lanes 4 and 5. And of course, the battle between Carter and Dix in lanes 7 and 8. Probably will not see fast times here, Otto. They're facing a strong headwind.
Yes, as a matter of fact, because that because they got called up just now, you know, the nerves right now are even worse than they already are. You're thinking, okay, I want to score for my team. Xavier Carter is thinking, okay, I have to come back later on this afternoon and run this 400. Walter wants to defend his title in lane 8. This is just a lot of nerves going on right here. Everyone has to maintain their composure. Remember, one false start, and that's it.
There are a lot of guys on that line right now that are used to winning championships.
But there can only be one winner today.
Men's 100 meters. Team points on the line. And a clean start in the men's 100 meters.
And Paget got a great start, but look at Demi Amole from Wisconsin. And now he's being run down on the outside.
X marks the spot. Xavier Carter emerging as the men's 100 meters champion.
I said that Paget looked best in qualifying. He did. But Xavier Carter, never underestimate the heart of a champion. This guy just knows how to win. He was out of this race at 30 meters, 40 meters, 50 meters, and then came on in the last half to snatch it.
Also, Walter Dix rallying for a second-place finish.
Paget had his usual great start. Look at Xavier Carter right here. He's down, but he keeps his composure. Paget had the best start in lane 6. At this point, I thought it was definitely Amole that was going to win, but look at Carter on the outside. I mean, this wasn't really close. He has time to celebrate at the end. Xavier Carter in 10.09 into a minus headwind. Great performance.
Xavier Carter halfway home. We'll find out later. Right now, we check in with Dwight Stones.
Xavier, you've already done something no LSU man has ever done, win this title, but also talk about the nerves after that come up before the first start.
Well, I felt tension between all the runners, you know. We're all great runners, so Walter was next to me. He rubbed on his cheek or something. So I knew the field was going to have to come up after that. So I just kept my mind frame set, you know, be patient, and got back in the blocks.
Talk about having to come back for this 400 a little bit later.
Well, you know, I'm catch my breath, get rubbed out and stuff, then come back out here and try to win another race.
All right, congratulations. Good luck later.
All right,
Ian?
Xavier Carter, wide receiver as well on the LSU football team. He'll be going for the game-winning touchdown later today in the 400. Carter wins it with Dix in second place. Men's team standings: Arkansas, Wisconsin, 30 points apiece. Arizona, North Carolina, and Tennessee rounding out the top 5. But LSU trying to get themselves into the championship.
And just barely stays in the ring, a little bit cautious. Currently second. And the men's triple jump, this is senior Rafiq Curry. He was 4th at this meet last year. And on his second round jump, he gets himself into a second place tie. But plenty of jumping and throwing left to go for the Seminoles.
All right, Dwight, team standings for the men. There's Arkansas perched atop the leaderboard, but doesn't appear like the Razorbacks have enough scoring opportunities the rest of the way. On the track, the men's 400-meter hurdles. Michael Tinsley, the collegiate leader, and Carol, he is the heavy favorite in this event.
He is the heavy favorite, but I will tell you one thing. Yesterday in the semifinals, he nicked a hurdle on the backstretch, and that threw him off. He is going to have a flawless race to win it here. Hopefully yesterday's competition did not shake his confidence. That's the problem.
I know you were impressed by Brian Steele from Long Island University running out of lane number 6.
No, I really was impressed with him. He had a very nice, smooth race, and what I was talking about before, Michael Tinsley, if he has one hiccup, then Brian Steele could steal this race.
Look at the overall field. We'll keep an eye on lane 4 as well, with Isa Phillips looking to score team points for LSU. Try to push the Tigers up the men's team standings.
Here's Isa Phillips, and Michael Tinsley was not a very highly recruited athlete out of high school, but when he got to Jackson State, his coach Edmund Donald said he knew he had a diamond in a rough. And right now, Tinsley is a junior, and he was ranked number 7 in the United States. And you know the United States is very deep in the men's 400-meter hurdles.
This was Karan Clement's event last year from Florida. And in the men's 400-meter hurdles a year ago, Tinsley finished 3rd here at the NCAA championships. And a clean start.
Tinsley looks good. They have not changed one iota over the hurdles, but now moving out very quickly is Chris Carter of BYU on the outside. That woke up Tinsley and Steele in lanes 5 and 6.
Isa Phillips also in contention right now. Tinsley from Jackson State running in lane number 5. Brian Steele in lane 6.
I'll tell you, Tinsley struggled a little over the hurdle that he hit yesterday, but it's Brian Steele and Chris Carter.
Brian Steele, lane 6 from Long Island. Chris Carter in lane 7, and now Tinsley turning it on. Michael Tinsley, the junior from Jackson State, has himself a national title in the men's 400-meter hurdles.
Very interesting race from Tinsley because he looked very good until he got to about hurdle number 6, and that is the hurdle that he nicked yesterday. He looked like he hesitated for just a moment, but then he made it over it cleanly. But coming off the last turn, he said, oh my goodness, I am way back in 3rd position. And right there, he really turns it on. He has very good, right here, he is in 3rd position, but he starts to turn again. Take a look at his leg speed. The other athletes are really struggling, and he powers off that last hurdle, and nobody's going to touch him from then.
Dwight Stone standing by with the men's 400-meter hurdles champion.
Michael, 2 days in a row, a little bit of trouble with a hurdle on the backstretch, but you recovered well, a season best.
Yes, it was wonderful. Great weather, nice fans. Yesterday I had a little bit of trouble trying to work out the Kingswin warm-up today. Felt real good coming home. It's just wonderful to get out here and win.
How inspiring was it to have Chris Carter out there sort of rabbiting that race for you?
He was wonderful. You guys go out hard. It took me out a little harder than I thought, but I held on. Everybody home strong.
Congratulations, national title.
Thank you.
Final results, men's 400-meter. On the campus of Sacramento State, from the Alex G. Spano Sports Complex, our coverage live on CBS continues. You know, it's hard to imagine, but women have been competing for championships of the NCAA for only 25 years. Time to look back at the women's first quarter century. The women of track and field have created a lasting legacy in NCAA championship competition. And it all began in 1982 with a star-studded UCLA team.
We won the first national championship. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Flojo, myself. It was just a great team. And then to now be a part of history, I feel very proud about that.
A freshman long jumper from Houston by the name of Carol Lewis announced her presence that first year. This week, the NCAA honored Susie Faber and Seilala Sua for their accomplishments. Faber won 5 outdoor middle distance titles.
It was really an honor when they told me about this. I was quite surprised, and it's just neat that they recognized my accomplishment, and I've just felt so good about what I accomplished in college, and for them to recognize it, it means the world to me. It really does.
And UCLA's Sua won 6 championships in the throws.
It's really nice to see that people, you know, remember what I did. I think it's a great honor. I'm really happy that they chose me. I think it's kind of cool that we have such a great tradition and history at UCLA for the kids to try and go after, you know, and set their own history.
How many years ago? What was it, Carol? I think I missed it on the piece.
I don't remember.
What do you remember from that event?
Well, it was a very exciting time for women in sports. Of course, the first time we were competing at the NCAAs, but also an opportunity to compete alongside the men. And I have to say that I don't know if the men were too welcoming, but at this juncture, the women are here to stay, and now they are part of these competitions, and they're some of the biggest stars.
Did you see Otto? He was beaming. UCLA getting major airtime here on network television. Tell us a little bit from your perspective.
Ian, as a former Bruin, I'm just so pleased. The UCLA women won that inaugural championship in 1982. Florence Griffith Joyner, Jeanette Bolden, as you saw. And I'm just really proud that the UCLA Bruins did such a great job, and they've continued to create great history on the women's side in track and field.
Well, 25 years strong for the women, and now a major part of college athletics. Team standings on the women's side. Auburn with 44 points. There is Texas, the defending national champions, Lady Longhorns, with 38, and USC currently in third with 30 points. Out on the track, the women's 400 meters. Last year, Monique Henderson lit up this track. The collegiate record 50-10. She was a senior at UCLA, and some participants to keep an eye on, including Natasha Hastings from South Carolina, looking to score valuable team points.
She really is, and she was 6th last year. This woman has a lot of international experience. 2004 World Junior Champion and 2003 World Youth Champion at 400 meters.
And next to her in lane 5, Cora Williams from Texas A&M. She's just a junior. I think she separated herself from this field in the semifinals. 51.06 puts her almost a half a second up on everybody else's semifinal time.
And this race could go in any one of a number of directions, and that includes Latasha Kerr from Texas in lane 2, now that the Lady Longhorns have gotten themselves back into the equation. Kerr is a senior.
And the amazing thing is Bev Kearney really inspires things in these ladies' hearts. Of course, Bev Kearney, we've told the story in the past about the car accident that's left her partially paralyzed, and she's out at the track each and every day. And when you talk to the girls, they say all we have to do is look over at our coach who has gone from not being able to walk to being able to walk, to see inspiration, and that's what really drives the lady from University of Texas.
And there is Bev Kearney, head coach at Texas, sitting on the far side of the bench. Also in this event, Penn State's Shayna Cox in lane 6, a sophomore, and Kanique Alexander from Iowa in lane number 7.
And Clara Williams from Texas A&M, she usually goes out hard, but today she's being run up on by Natasha Hastings from South Carolina already.
Natasha Hastings is really moving. Now Clara Williams looked over and said, oh no, that's the person behind me. I've got to move. Now the question is, did Natasha Hastings take it out way too fast?
And one of the things about 400-meter running at this level, if you go out too hard for this 200, you're going to pay the price now. Has Natasha Hastings gone out too fast?
Natasha Hastings in lane number 4. Clara Williams in lane number 5 as they make the final turn and head for home. Hastings is being challenged by Hall on the outside. Williams passing her as well, and Williams now emerging. Clara Williams, an impressive showing in the women's 400 meters. The junior from Texas A&M takes the title.
And she's probably watching at home. Her sister Noveline Williams, who's an Olympian for Jamaica, she said, I'm going to be up there with you very soon. But I'll tell you, Clara Williams ran a very smart race. She did not go out too hard like Natasha Hastings. And right here, she is in about 3rd position. But on the home stretch, she goes to her arms, and that is where she starts to make up ground on Hastings.
Clara Williams did what you're supposed to do in 400 meters. Even if someone breaks the stagger on you, run your own race. And because she didn't respond to Natasha Hastings going out so hard, she had more left at the end.
So Clara Williams, who had the top collegiate time coming into this final, takes the title in the women's 400 meters. Kanique Alexander from Iowa, 2nd. Shayna Cox from Penn State in 3rd. We talked about Latasha Kerr from Texas. She finishes in 7th place for the Lady Longhorns. Coming up next, Xavier Carter. Does X mark the spot again? We'll find out that answer when we come back to Sacramento on CBS. The men's team standings here in Sacramento, Arkansas and Wisconsin, 30 points apiece, followed by Arizona, North Carolina, and Tennessee tied for 4th. Men's 400 meters. All eyes on the letter X. Xavier Carter. Some say Xavier, some say Xavier. I think we can say champion. That much we do know from earlier today.
Doesn't matter what you call him. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. That means that Xavier Carter has had all of 42 minutes rest. 1 hour ago, this was the 100 meters. He started as one of the favorites, and out of lane 7, he didn't get a great start, but as you see here, he starts to make up ground on Demi Amole in lane 6 next to him, and the second half of the race is totally his. 10:09 into a headwind.
So Carter trying to become the first man to win both the 100 and 400 at the same NCAA meet. Where will the challenge come from in this event, Carol?
Right outside of him in lane number 6, but
Ricardo Chambers from Florida State, the sophomore in lane 6. David Neville in lane 4 from Indiana. Matt Shear in lane 3 from Oregon.
Chambers barely broke a sweat in qualifying, a sub 45, ran 44.98 in the semifinal and looked very good. Don't think that these quarter milers don't know about this double attempt by Xavier Carter. And no one wants to be the guy who's referred to as the guy who Xavier Carter doubled against. A lot of pride on the line here for these quarter milers. They don't want Xavier Carter to come back and double on them.
Carter is in lane 5, wearing the white. And a clean start in the men's 400 meters. Carter looking for the rare double.
And already moving well is Ricardo Chambers in lane number 6. He is moving out. Now this is a time right now where Xavier Carter has to come back down, calm himself down, and he knows he's already hurting a little bit, but he's got to run with heart.
If I was Ricardo Chambers, this is exactly how I would run this race. Make Xavier Carter think about this. And here we see Xavier Carter being passed from behind now by David Neville Jr. from Indiana in lane 4.
David Neville Jr. from Indiana. He's got the lead. Will hit the home stretch, though. Carter, does he have the closing speed? Xavier Carter trying to pull off the double. has done it for LSU. NCAA history for the X-Man.
I cannot tell you, Ian, what a difficult double this is. The fact that nobody has done it is testament. This is 40 minutes rest. This guy just ran 10:09, and now he's come back 44:53, one of the fastest times in the world. Let's take a look at this 400 meters again by Xavier Carter.
And right here, he lets Ricardo Chambers get out on him, but he is staying patient. He's running his own race, and right now he looks very relaxed, freewheeling down the backstretch because he knows it's going to be hard coming home.
A star is born right here, because I thought for sure when I saw Ricardo Chambers take it out this hard that Xavier was going to maybe go with him and suffer at the end, but he did not. He was patient. Even when Neville on the inside of him passed him, he kept his composure and said, guys, you know what? If this is going to be a test of heart, I know I have more heart today.
Right now, he's saying no guts, no glory. Keep the arms pumping, keep the legs moving. He's tiptoeing, but he's tiptoeing faster than anybody else in the race.
That is one of the most amazing doubles in collegiate history. For a man to run 10:0, come back 40 minutes later and run 44:58 is amazing.
It is a personal best for Xavier Carter, and he's with our own Dwight Stone.
Xavier, didn't we just do this about 40 minutes ago?
Right, just did. Had another race. Felt I had to come out here and take this one too.
Well, you've made plenty of history already. First LSU man to win the 100. Now you've made the impossible double possible. What are you going to do for an hour and a half while you get ready for the 4x400?
Cock my legs up and relax. I don't got too much stretching to do. I've been stretching all morning. So I'm just relaxed. Wait for the 4x4 to come. And we're going to take that one home too.
Were you at all concerned at 200 when you were well back at that point?
No, I ran my race. Those guys didn't run their race. And you see what happened.
A way to stick to the race plan, a personal best, and a double champion.
Thank you.
The X-Man cometh. 2006 collegiate best. Carter, 44:53. Ricardo Chambers from Florida State in second, and David Neville Jr. from Indiana finishing third. LSU has jumped in front in the men's team standings, 33 points. Oh, the letter X has been kind to LSU today. Back here in Sacramento, and a major storyline in the women's competition. Devastating news for the Lady Longhorns from Texas. Melaine Walker, who won the women's 400-meter hurdles, disqualified the 7th hurdle, Carol.
And what happens here is she's what's called dragging. And right here, her knee does not go over the center of the hurdle. You have to hurdle over the center of the hurdle. So her foot drug around the side of the hurdle, and you get disqualified for that.
Dwight Stone standing by with the head coach of Texas, Bev Kearney.
Bev, you're just getting the news now about Melaine Walker, a violation of dropping her trail leg below the hurdle, now on the 6th hurdle. What is your reaction?
I'm in shock, and you know, Melaine is such a great hurdler. You know, I would have to see it. You know, I'm not refuting what they say, but I would really be apprehensive about the fact that she actually, I need to see it. She's never done anything like that, so I'm just in shock.
This is my understanding that this is not a protestable call. This is a referee call, site call, judgment call.
You know what, and it's just like all the false starts rules we got now, where we're giving warnings and pulling people out of the block. I don't understand what we're doing anymore. I just don't understand.
Is there anything that you can do about this, aside from their faith in your athlete, that you know that she normally does not run this way?
You know, like I said, I would have to see it. I haven't seen it. I need to see it. I mean, I'm in shock. I mean, we're battling for the national championship. We faced and overcome so much adversity, and then to have something like this to happen, to take the heart out of our team. I mean, there's only so many blows you can take, and I'm still proud of them, but, I mean, good God.
Thanks, Bev. Obviously devastating news, Ian, for the Lady Longhorns.
All right, Dwight, thanks very much. Initially, the news was 7th hurdle. Dwight reporting the 6th hurdle.
Right there. If you saw when she went over the hurdle, her foot kicked to the outside, her lead leg kicked to the outside and came over the hurdle. And that is exactly where Melaine was disqualified.
The updated team standings now with this information in place. Auburn, 48 points, has the sizable lead on Texas and USC. Just like that, the Lady Longhorns appear to be out of the championship story. We'll come back with more of the 2006 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships in a moment. Back live here in Sacramento. Alex G. Spanos Sports Complex. The team standings are as follows. Auburn with 48 points. Texas after the DQ. Melaine Walker, 30 points. USC with 30 as well. And the women's 200 meters, a chance for Auburn to clinch the national championship. Karan Stewart running out of lane 5. The junior from Auburn. And right now the USC Lady Trojans can at least stay in the mix with a strong showing from Carol Rodriguez, the sophomore in lane 4.
Yes, and she's right behind her in lane 4. That's a great lane for her. She's coming off of a 3rd place finish in the 100, which I think was a good finish for her given what she was seeded. And then in lane 6, just to the outside of Karan Stewart, Shalonda Solomon, who was pipped in this race last year.
Ebony Floyd in lane number 8.
And we should see a really good time because half of this field is only an hour removed from that 100-meter final that we saw.
Karan Stewart needs to beat Carol Rodriguez from USC. And Auburn will clinch a national championship. Or if Auburn stays within 4 points, depending upon where they finish, that could also get the Tigers the title. Women's 200 meters. Stewart has a championship on the line.
And this is really bad, Ian. This is about the 3rd race that we've seen where the athletes have been called up. Whatever is going on with the starters, they need to really figure it out because when you're here and the nerves are already bad, to get called up, I'm telling you, that does nothing good for your race preparation.
Well, I know earlier in the week there were some issues with the train that would go by.
And I think that's exactly what it is here, Ian.
Yep.
The train, the Sacramento train has gone by. And that's what they had to be called up for. But because there is one false start and you're out, and that's the rule at NCAA's, it's actually a good thing, now that I think about it, to call these athletes up. Because if someone responds to the sound of that train, that's it. Their NCAA's are over, and that could impact the team title.
Now, they can get on the train and go home, because that would be it.
The starters should have known better. They should have actually waited until after the train passed. But all that's in the past now, and here we go with the women's 200-meter dash final.
And the storyline is simple. Karan Stewart from Auburn. The Tigers, 48 points, and can win their first ever national championship.
Karan Stewart, I thought, was upset in that 100. I thought she was the favorite. She was upset by Nesbitt. This is a good chance to not only win her individual title, but to win it all for Auburn.
Running out of lane 5, Stewart, Carol Rodriguez in lane 4 from USC, trying to keep the Lady Trojans alive in the championship race. Women's 200 meters.
And Karan Stewart has gone out well. This is an exercise in turn running. Now she's in the lead. The question is, has she run this turn too hard? Does she have enough to go home? Karan Stewart in lane 5.
Stewart in a battle with Shalonda Solomon. Solomon and Stewart to the tape, leaning forward. Oh, so close.
And you've got the feel for Shalonda Solomon. No, she's done it this year. Last year, almost exactly the same finish.
Auburn has won the national championship. Karan Stewart battling it out in the women's 200 meters.
From the gun, here we see Shalonda Solomon and Karan Stewart. I mean, they're locked in a battle. Shalonda Solomon probably ran the better turn. We see Carol Rodriguez trying her best to get up there. But at this point, look at Shalonda Solomon. Put that head down. Now, mind you, last year, she got pipped at the line for the gold medal. This year, she maintains her composure. She's 1 year more experienced. But Karan Stewart of Auburn wins the title for Auburn.
So Solomon wins the race, but Stewart does enough to win Auburn the national championship. 22-62 for Solomon. She's got her individual title, but Karan Stewart has done the job for Auburn. The Tigers are the national champions. Here's Dwight.
Shalonda, a great race, a battle down the final straightaway, and a great battle with Karan Stewart. But of course, this wins it for Auburn. How does that must make you feel a little bit different about your race winning it, but taking South Carolina completely out of it?
No, not really. Karan is a very good athlete, and it was just good running with her.
And you had a little bit of a tailwind on that. That had to help, even though she ran the turn so well.
Yeah, she did, and she pushed me to the end. I pushed her as well.
You have to feel a little bit sad not winning the individual title there, even though you ran the turn like crazy. But Auburn winning its first national title, that had to be the goal coming in here for the team.
No, I'm not sad at all. I just feel complete because we are all great athletes, and she took it, and I'm happy for her.
Well, you really made the race for her. You ran the turn. Otto Bolton was saying, wondering if you could hang up the straightaway.
You know what? That's what my coach been working on. We've been working on the straightaways because my turn's been good, but the straightaway I just fade. But today, I just bring it.
Congratulations to both of you. National title for you and the Auburn Tigers.
Thank you.
Dwight, Auburn had never finished higher than 14th in this event. And now the Tigers have a national championship. Karan Stewart clinches it with a second-place finish in the women's 200 meters. Auburn, 56 points. The team title belongs to the Tigers. Well, you never quite know what you're going to get on the final day of competition. A congratulatory hug and a national championship for Auburn. Back live here in Sacramento as we check in with Dwight Stones along the infield.
Well, after dropping as low as 4th place in this final, Florida State junior Garrett Johnson, who won the indoor title back in March, explodes out past the 20-meter mark and manages to win this title by the barest of margins. 66 feet 7 inches, well under his best throw of the year this year, but the Seminoles pick up 10 huge points towards the team title. Ian?
And the men's team standings, Arizona 34 points, Florida State is coming, LSU and the Seminoles tied with 33 points apiece. Arkansas and Wisconsin all knotted up at 30 apiece. Out on the track, the men's 200 meters. Top time this year, Xavier Carter, not running in this event, but his teammate Kelly Willie is from LSU, and a lot of big names battling for some important team points. Sharandi Martina is in lane 5.
Yes, he is, and he was 6th in the 100. He was very disappointed, I'm sure, with that performance. He came in here with a 9.7 Windy. He'll be looking to make amends for that. In front of him in lane 6 is Kelly Willie. This guy has an Olympic gold medal in the relay, but no individual NCAA title. He'll be trying to change that right here today. And just to his outside, Walter Dix, 2nd in the 100, which is better than I thought he was going to finish. I guess the hamstring is feeling good today. He's in lane 7. He does not run a particularly good turn. That's a great lane draw for him.
You mentioned Dix, who did finish 2nd in the 100 to Carter. Also, Jamal Charles is in this race. From Texas, he finished 5th in the 100, a freshman, also on the football team. And Martina in lane number 5, who finished 6th in the 100, as Otto mentioned, out of UTEP, the sophomore. For Kelly Willie, he's been such a great team competitor. Walter Dix has been the go-to guy for Florida State. So in lanes 6 and 7, we've got legitimate drama in the men's 200 meters.
And I think this is going to be interesting because Kelly Willie is a 400-meter runner. He was part of that championship team for LSU last year. He's going to run a great turn. I expect him to go by Walter Dix, but Walter Dix has had an amazing finish. We saw it in qualifying yesterday. The question is, can Kelly Willie get far ahead enough of Walter Dix to hold on and win this race?
Keep in mind as well, 9 competitors in the field. Only the top 8 will earn points for their team, as the men's team competition is beginning to round into form.
Walter Dix has got to stay close enough to Kelly Willie on this turn to give himself a chance to use his great finish.
Willie in lane 6, Dix in lane 7. Men's 200 meters, a clean start.
And true to form, Kelly Willie is already up on Walter Dix, but he's going to have to separate, I think, in order to win this 200 meters. Here's Walter Dix coming right back now with Kelly Willie.
Dix wearing the black, Willie in front of him. It's a two-man battle, and Walter Dix accelerating to the tape for the men's 200-meter title.
And that was a great performance by Walter Dix. If he stayed close enough to Willie on the turn, he finishes better than anybody else in the field. And that's exactly what he did. 20-30, a great performance by Walter Dix after second place in the 100 meters.
And Kelly Willie has to settle for second with Reuben Williams from Tennessee finishing in third.
Kelly Willie, I think, ran the way he had to run to win this race. He has to think, I have to go by Walter Dix and keep going. But as you see right here, Walter Dix is holding his own. And at 100 meters, there they are, even. And right now, Walter Dix, as I said, finishes better than anyone else, 100 or 200 meters. And it really wasn't close at the end. Walter Dix in a clear win.
Is that the best we've seen him this week?
I think it is. I've really been worried about him with this hamstring. But as he said yesterday, maybe there's nothing wrong with the hamstring because he looked very good coming home here.
Walter Dix takes the title in the men's 200 meters, and he's with Dwight Stones.
Walter, what a difference a day makes. Otto Bolden was talking about how poorly you ran that turn yesterday, that you barely crawled into the final, but you were right there with the leaders coming off the turn.
That was my plan. Yesterday I was trying to relax, save energy, running on the torn grind, just trying to be strong through the meet.
Was that 100 really sort of a setup for you for the 200? I know you didn't win the race, but it looked as though you're very happy with your finish.
I was definitely happy. I mean, with the injury that I have, I'm not able to come out the blocks as strong as I want to. So, when I get the opportunity to come in second and run all those people down, I mean, it's a great feeling.
How inspiring is it, the fact that the team is doing so well? Have you got more scoring opportunities, and you've already contributed your 18 points?
I mean, the team's doing really well. We're a family. We cover up each other's mistakes, and that's the way we perform. That's the way we're supposed to perform.
Congratulations. Great race.
So 10 team points for Florida State, but 8 team points, should say 11 for Florida State, after also getting Michael Ray Garvin to the finish line. 8 for LSU after Kelly Willie's performance and a second place finish. Updated men's team standings. Florida State 44, LSU right behind with 41. We'll have much more coming up live from Sacramento. Monday on The Late Show. Dave's All New with Paris Hilton. And later this week, don't miss Sandra Bullock. Dave's All New all week here on CBS. We've seen some outstanding performances throughout the competition here in Sacramento. Friday, some athletes certainly raised the bar. Dwight Stones and Carol Lewis have the highlights.
Great performances of the NCAA championships, presented by Singular, raising the bar.
In the first individual track event of the day, Jenny Powell of USC wins the 100-meter hurdles in a spectacular fashion. A collegiate record time of 12:48.
Out of lane 5, Powell has the lead. 2 more hurdles left, and Jenny Powell is going to win this one going away.
Right on. And in the women's steeplechase, it was Cassie Hunt, the junior from Illinois, who made the first break. But freshman Jennifer Behringer had other thoughts.
And here comes Behringer passing Hunt. Can the freshman take the national title? Jennifer Behringer. She's done it. Under 10 minutes.
You guys, my coach and my parents.
Jesse Williams of USC defends his title in the men's high jump with a new Trojan school record jump of 7 feet 7 1/4.
And in the 4x1, LSU blistered the track.
Stevenson hands it off to Kelly Willie, the senior. Look at the separation. Kelly Willie will cruise in for LSU and the men's 4x100 meter championship.
Air Force senior Dana Pound saved her best for last as she successfully defended her title in the javelin with her last throw, a monster heave of 190 feet 3 inches.
Number 1, 2 times. All right. Hey-oh, you ready to go?
Now that gives you some of the flavor here in Sacramento. Lots of emotions throughout the 4 days of competition. The 2006 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Sights and sounds will continue our coverage live here on CBS. Another picture-perfect day here in Sacramento. The championships of the NCAA, presented by CBS Sports. Well, for the Auburn Tigers in the women's competition, everything fell into place, clinching its first ever national championship. Dwight Stone standing by with the head coach, Ralph Spry.
All right, Ian. Ralph, you know, back in our day, you liked a little bit of drama in the long jump. We got more than an hour to go, and you've wrapped it up. Where's the drama, Ralph?
I'll tell you what, Dwight, man, you know, drama's big, but if you want drama and watch Days of Our Lives, I know TV wanted drama, but for us, it's a really sweet feeling to get it done early and sit back and really start to enjoy it right now.
The best Auburn's ever finished before this, 14th on the women's side. What's better, doing it as an athlete or doing it as a coach?
No comparison as a coach and doing it as a team. Is to watch these young ladies work as hard as they've worked. They've done it all year long. The coach has gotten prepared. It's just been a fabulous feeling, and it's just a great feeling right now.
I knew you knew the scenario as the 200 was going off, but how about Karan Stewart running the unbelievable, turning that 200 and just almost holding off Shalonda Solomon?
She sure was, and she's been somebody that's been there all year long, Dwight. I mean, she's been consistent day in, day out, had some tough wins. She ran the fastest time in the world a while back, and so she's been consistent all year long, and we just knew that she was ready to run. A lot of races here, but, you know, when she hits the track, she leaves on the track, Dwight.
Congratulations for your first team titles. Let's start a dynasty, Ralph.
Hey, I appreciate it. We're looking forward to another one down the road.
All right.
Well, Dwight, Coach, thanks very much. And if you are going to watch drama, we prefer The Young and the Restless here on CBS. But a great story for Auburn. The Tigers get their first title. They had never finished higher than 14th at this event. Back with more in a moment. Back at the Alex G. Spano Sports Complex, final day of competition in the 2006 Outdoor NCAA Track and Field Championships. The day began with the women's 800 meters. This turned out to be a very entertaining finish.
It really did. There's Heather Dornan, and you think that she's going to win, but take a look who's coming from way back. Rebecca Noble of Oregon looked like she was in an entire different race. Take a look at that turnover. She won this race going away. A great time, too.
And the first freshman ever to win the 800 meters at this meet. On the men's side, well, we were talking about Dwayne Solomon from USC and Joseph Lamong from Northern Arizona. Maybe we should have been talking about Ryan Brown from Washington.
Ryan Brown swung wide out in lane number 3, and he looked like he got down on the blocks because all of a sudden, while everyone else was going backwards, he was using his arms, looking like a 400-meter finish. Take a look at how he is lifting and driving towards the tape.
Ryan Brown, the winner in the men's 800 meters. We'll come back. So many terrific highlights throughout the day, but that man has captured the attention of everyone here in attendance. The X-Man, Xavier Carter from LSU. Florida State as we head downstairs in Dwight Stone's.
All right, Ian, everything going right for the Seminoles this afternoon. Rafik Curry, who had found himself mired in 4th place, which is where he finished last year. 5th round. He comes through with a big leap, 54-10 1/4, and goes from 4th to 1st. It's not over yet, but right now he's sitting in the catbird seat.
And Dwight and Carroll, this is how it looks on the leaderboard. Florida State, 44 points in front of LSU in 2nd place with 41. Out on the track is the men's 1,500 meters. There is a chance that the Seminoles can win the national championship right here with Tom Lancashire, the junior from FSU.
And there's Lancashire right there. He was 8th in the 1,500 meters last year and probably has no idea how much is riding on his shoulders.
Lionel Manzano is the defending national champion from Texas. Only a sophomore from Marble Falls, Texas. Manzano, talented distance runner. And Robert Cheserette, also in this group from Arizona, the senior, who has had a disappointing meet by his own standards.
He really is. He came into this competition hoping to do a 1,500 meter, 5,000 meter double and did not finish well in the 5,000. In fact, last year he tried a 5,000 meter, 10,000 meter double. So I'm sure right now he is just hoping to have a good performance here in this 1,500 meters. But perhaps the gentleman right there in the middle of your screen from Texas, Lionel Manzano, the champion last year as a freshman, a surprise champion, setting school records to win. Only 5'5", 125 pounds, but I'll tell you, he carries a big stick when he's running the 1,500 meters. There he is, right in the center of your screen.
While this men's 1,500 meters is being run, there is a chance that Florida State can win the national title at the triple jump with Rafiq Curry.
But the interesting thing is no coach wants to tell Tom Lancashire that information.
Right now, Curry is on the runway in the men's triple jump.
All right, Ian, 6th and final attempt for Rafiq Curry in the triple jump, and it's important because they can clinch the team title right here as we continue to watch the men's 1,500.
Curry waiting for the results. Florida State with 2 chances now to win the national championship on the track and in the field. Men's 1,500 meters, Tom Lancashire of the Seminoles, the junior, if he finishes 2nd or better, Florida State's got the title.
Right now, he's back in the pack. A very slow pace going out, but that's Robert Cheserette out in the lead. And I will tell you, this is something he might have to do in this race. He does not have the sprint speed of some of the other athletes, so he wants to pick this pace up and make it honest and perhaps try to shake some of the faster gentlemen in the race. That's Cheserette in the lead, Lancashire in 2nd to last position. That's Manzano right in the center, in the burnt orange of the University of Texas.
Now Manzano trying to make a move on the inside. Adam Perkins from Arkansas currently in 2nd, with Vincent Rono from South Alabama in 3rd. Let's head back down to the triple jump.
Michael Whitehead, the last person who can displace Rafiq Curry off the leaderboard in the men's triple jump. Those 10 points for Curry will clinch it for Florida State no matter what Tom Lancashire does in this 1,500. It's less than 54.10 1/4. It is not enough. He clinches. Rafiq Curry wins the triple jump. It is over. The Seminoles are the national titleists.
Florida State has won its first ever national championship here at the 2006 NCAA Track and Field Championships.
But the cool thing is no one has told Tom Lancashire this, and he has gone out front with about 450 meters to go. He went with it, and he has built up about a 10-meter lead. Everyone's trying to go behind him, but little does he know he could be running also for the NCAA championship, but they've already won the team title.
Tom Lancashire extending his lead as he hits the final turn. The men's 1,500 meters. The Seminoles will claim their first title. Auburn has won on the women's side. Lancashire trying to hold off Vincent Rono. It doesn't matter in terms of the team championship. Florida State has done it. Lancashire stepped forward and finishes second behind Rono of South Alabama.
How many times have we seen that today? We had a person who has broken a race open in the distance race, gotten so far out ahead, could taste the win, and Vincent Rono right here. Look how far back he is. He is churning up ground as Lancashire starts to flail towards the end of the race. And I'm sure he looked over and said, "Where did you come from?" My goodness, he came from far back. But look at his running technique. He is pumping his arms, and he gets Lancashire at the tape.
Downstairs to Dwight Stones.
Okay, Tom, what you don't know is that while you were running, Florida State has clinched the team title because Rafiq Curry, your teammate, won the triple jump. Do you think he may have taken off a little too early and just run out of room?
No, I mean, I ran the race how I wanted to run it. I just ran out of steam at the end, and you know, there's nothing you can do about it.
Talk a little bit about how everything seemed to fall in place for this team. I mean, Garrett Johnson was fourth, came up to first. Rafiq Curry, fourth, came up to first. What has been the mindset of this Seminole team that has brought them to their first national title?
Well, all year we've known we're good enough to win this. It's been, you know, the #1 priority of the whole team the whole year. So I guess it makes sense that it all falls into place. You know, we've been so focused on it.
Did you have any idea what was going on as far as the team situation, how many points out you were, where you needed to finish no lower than?
No, I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was just thinking about my own race, trying to get the title, and unfortunately it didn't work out today.
Well, let me tell you, your reaction to being a national champ, not individually, but as a team.
It feels pretty good, but you know, I've got a bit of a sour taste in my mouth right now.
Congratulations.
All right, Dwight, thanks very much. And for Tom, obviously the focus was to take home that 1,500-meter title, but the reality, he and his teammates are national champions. The Seminoles win the 2006 title. Rafiq Curry in the triple jump. That turned out to be the clincher for Florida State. Two new champions here in 2006. New blood at the NCAA Track and Field Championships. Rejoining you live in Sacramento, Florida State. Some history for the Seminoles, their first national championship. And yes, Bob Brayman, I think your minutes on the calling plan are going to be used up this month. We'll talk to him after the 3,000 steeplechase. Big smile, you can't wipe that one off his face. Head coach of Florida State, Bob Brayman. Congratulations to the Seminoles. It all happened basically at once. As the 1,500 was going on, Rafiq Curry clinched the men's triple jump. Able to win the individual title there. Meanwhile, on the track, Tom Lancashire appeared to have the men's 1,500 all sewn up. But Lancashire flailing at the end, and he was passed by Rono of South Alabama. Thought it was icing on the cake for Lancashire, getting 8 points for Florida State. They've clinched the team title, the Seminoles, with 62, LSU 41, and Texas with 36. Bob Brayman, national champion, Florida State. Some other field events from earlier today. Dwight Stones will navigate us through the highlights.
In the men's javelin, this is junior Justin Rinkevich of University of North Carolina. First attempt of the competition and takes the lead early as he sails one out to 2:43.4. Eric Brown, the senior from Arkansas, leading thrower in the country this year. His third attempt, and he improved on all three, but still remains in second at 2:38.3. Back to Rinkevich on his fifth throw, trying to better his leading toss. Comes close, 2:43.1, and holds on for the victory. Joins his teammate Vikas Gowda of North Carolina. In the women's hammer, this is freshman Ava Orban of Hungary. Part of that connection that USC has had for years. Her second attempt of the competition takes the lead with a toss of 220 feet 11 inches. She actually threw at the Athens Games in 2004. In steps junior Jenny Dahlgren of Georgia. Her second attempt, and she whips it out to 226 feet 4 inches to take the lead. She is a native of Argentina. Then Orban in the 6th and final round with second place points already secured, goes for it, but fouls in the attempt. 8 points for the Trojans, but the NCAA title to Dahlgren.
Terrific place movements. Everybody competed very well. Thank you, ladies. Well, for Florida State, Seminoles able to ride the legs of the talented Walter Dix on the men's side. The women's side, Ralph Spry, head coach of the Auburn Tigers. You're a national champion. And we welcome you back live in Sacramento, side of the 2006 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Tomorrow on CBS begins with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes. Then Oprah Winfrey, Julia Roberts, and today's biggest stars are on stage live at the Tony Awards. That's tomorrow on CBS, America's #1 network. Updated scoring on the men's side, Florida State clinching the championship, 62 points, LSU with 41, and Texas in 3rd place with 36. Right now on the track, we are getting ready for the men's steeplechase. Showdown between Florida State, Texas, and UTEP. The defending national champion, Misha Bogdan, is one of 2 minors in this event, along with Patrick Mutai, also from UTEP, and Florida State represented by Andrew Lemoncello, a senior.
A lovely Italian aperitif, I might add, as Carol well knows.
Yes. Buonissimo.
Well, I have no idea what you two are talking about, but I do know Florida State's won the national championship, so for Lemoncello, he can add to the team total.
And I think the thing is that Bob Brayman said that he would talk after the steeplechase because he realizes they have clinched the title, but he also realized that he had one more athlete out there competing today and wants to make sure he can concentrate on him and give him the best opportunity he can to win the national title. Of course, we talked about the 2 gentlemen from UTEP, Bogdan, the defending champion, and Mutai, also there for UTEP. At the beginning of the week, we thought UTEP might have a shot, but they have fallen by the wayside, and right now they're hoping that these 2 gentlemen will do well in this competition. Perhaps Bogdan will defend his national championship.
Mircea Bogdan from UTEP. You mentioned Mutai, who is a sophomore, Bogdan a senior. And for Lemoncello, who won the ACC championships, trying to add a national title to his collection. The men's 3,000 steeplechase is underway.
Now, the one thing I'm going to have to wonder is if Lemoncello really knows that they have won the championship, or have they kept him kind of isolated and don't want him to just be happy about it and say, concentrate, focus in on your race, because he is a senior. This is his last opportunity to win an individual title.
Well, if we're judging off Tom Lancashire's reaction, then does it really matter? Lancashire was still very upset after losing out on that individual championship in the 1500, but once reality settles in and a national championship from a team standpoint will also be remembered.
Lemoncello out front. They're running about 5 across, and that's one thing that's been very interesting. The paces have started out so slow that everyone is just bunched up, and some of the athletes are running almost 3 deep around this track. The barriers for the men are 36 inches high. And And as I say, barriers, remember, if you hit one of these things, it'll win the race, as former American record holder Henry Marsh knows very well.
Also among the contenders, Augustus Mayo from Alabama, sophomore.
And I think consistent with what Tom Lancashire said is that this team has been poised to win the national title. They've got great balance and depth on this Florida State team. And as much as I know he wants to go out there and win a national title in his final appearance, he's going to fight for every point, whether he knows that they have clinched or not.
And it's going to be interesting also to see if Florida State can maintain this high level over the next few years, because you know Arkansas will come back. But the door was open this year for a men's team, and it was Florida State that jumped right through it.
And they've done it all over the track. They've done it in the field. They've done it in the sprints. They've also had some good performances in the distance, and that's one thing. Arkansas has won a lot of their titles on their distance program, and now it's looking like you're going to have a more level team in order to win a championship. On the outside in the orange, that's Bogdan right here from UTEP. And these athletes getting very close, going over these barriers. Watch it. You've seen a little bit of stumbling around, people pushing, trying to get enough room to run. And that's the danger of having such a slow pace.
And you're right about Florida State. Very balanced effort for the Seminoles, doing it in just about every area in this track meet and claiming their first national championship.
And what's great to see also, you guys, is that both on the women's and men's side, so many teams that were still in contention as we entered this final day, and the jockeying of certain people not making a final. For example, Texas women's 4x400 relay not making the final, which is unheard of. For Arkansas not to really be in the mix, it's unheard of. And it's great to see two first-time champions. It really does give faith to a lot of teams who have been on the brink to recruit a few more people to balance out their teams, a few more multi-event type people to really be in this thing.
Best collegiate time this year in this event belongs to Mircea Bogdan of UTEP, 8:31.72. Right now, Augustus Mayo, the leader from Alabama. Aaron Aguayo has moved into second place from Arizona State, a junior.
And how many distance races have we seen this week where the pace goes out slowly enough where really everyone is still in the race halfway through? This is such a dangerous situation when you add the barriers and the water jump in, to have this huge pack of runners so close together. All it takes is for one guy to catch a trail leg or a lead leg and go down and have it really be a disaster.
I mentioned earlier, Henry Marsh was on his way to a medal at the Olympic Games in 1984 and fell over the last barrier. So these guys really, when you're getting ready to hurdle over the barrier, you need to have a little bit of space in between you and the barrier, or someone could go down. But again, still running very slow, and everyone is still in the race.
Less than 4 laps to go in the men's 3,000 steeplechase.
The question is, who is going to be the one who breaks this race open? They keep looking around like, you take it. No, you take it. And nobody really wants to go out and do the work. Limoncello still around 4th position. Bogdan right on his shoulder.
Ite Magidi of Clemson now has emerged, a senior. Still very bunched up as we have passed the 5-minute mark in the steeplechase.
That's Mutai right there from UTEP in 2nd position. Limoncello in 5th position.
And Aguayo has taken the lead for Arizona State.
Aguayo starting to string the pack out a little bit, so this at least reduces the percentage of chance that there will be a disastrous crash, but still not really a definitive move of any kind.
Not a lot of spacing right now out front as we hit 6 minutes gone by in the steeple.
Looked like Aguayo just wanted to test the water, see if he could put a little bit of gap there. He went out a little bit, put a little bit of distance between them, but they closed the gap right back up. They're not going to let anyone get too far out in front.
Hey, Carol, you were right on cue with that testing the waters theme. Literally.
I feel pretty nice out there today. It's pretty warm for a steeplechasing.
Brian Olinger from Ohio State has moved into 3rd place. He's a senior Buckeye wearing the red. So it's Aguayo in 1st.
It's actually very interesting because this race is opening up a little bit, but it looks like Bogdan and Limoncello. Bogdan is staying right on Limoncello's shoulder, almost acting like he's the guy he really needs to watch, while letting the other 4 athletes in front get a little bit outside of him.
And now Josh McAdams from BYU, a senior, is challenging Aguayo. He's in 2nd place.
I keep waiting to see somebody make some type of a move. Aguayo not really getting that separation, but now the top 2 have got at least 6 or 7 meters.
And McAdams will take the lead as we hit the bell lap.
Now, usually we'd say, oh, they've got a gap, they're far enough ahead, but if we've seen over and over today, somebody gets really far ahead and they just reel them in, but now these guys are running.
McAdams and Aguayo, BYU against Arizona State. Mircea Bogdan is in 3rd.
The defending champion in 3rd has realized that these two are serious about this last bit of kick. He has a little bit of ground to make up.
Remember, McAdams gets to train at altitude there at Provo, so coming down here to Sacramento, it's like he has extra oxygen. He's got a turbocharger on.
Josh McAdams, the senior from BYU, trying to end his collegiate career with a championship, widening the lead. McAdams took a peek, and Josh McAdams will take the title in the men's 3,000 steeplechase.
Okay, for everybody at home and steeplechases around, don't peek while you're going over the barrier. He almost fell going over that last barrier, and I said, oh my goodness, is he going to make it this far? But this guy was the one who had enough guts with 1 lap to go for it, and it paid off. Under a lap to go, McAdams was the one who took it with 1 lap to go, and there he goes. He's looking really good right now, and you don't see, there is Bogdan, the defending champion. He looks like he is going to be able to make up enough ground. We're wondering at this point if McAdams is going to be able to hold him off. He struggles through the water jump. He struggles through the water jump, and Bogdan just leaps through the water. But right here is danger zone. Going over the last barrier, take a look. Oh, he looked like he almost twisted his ankle going over the last barrier. And we have seen so many disasters at that, but at this point, Bogdan knew his chance of defense was over.
BYU, Josh McAdams takes the steeple, and we head downstairs to Dwight.
Josh, technical tip, don't look around when you're going over the barrier, especially the last one. It looked like you stumbled there and maybe twisted your ankle a little bit.
I didn't twist my ankle, I stumbled a little bit. And last year I hit that barrier, same one. I was tired, and I'll admit it, but man, that was awesome.
Talk a little bit about how that pack was so bunched up over the first half of the race, and then Aguayo made a little bit of a break, but not definitive enough. When did you know that you had to go?
600 left, you know. Bogdan's got a great kick, and you know, last year he went blazing by me the last 400, so I knew I had to go a little sooner, but I'm a good 1,500 runner, and I knew if I took a little earlier, it's going to come down to some guts too. So, yeah.
Good way to learn from your mistake. Congratulations, national champion.
Thank you.
Josh McAdams, 8:34.10 for the BYU senior. Defending champion Mircea Bogdan from UTEP settles for second. Aguayo, the leader for most of the way from Arizona State, finishes in third. More to come from Sacramento when we come back. It was a complete team effort today from Florida State. Out on the field, Rafiq Curry in the triple jump. 10 big points for the Seminoles. Also, we talked about him at the top of the show, Garrett Johnson. Well, Dwight mentioned it earlier, exploding on his final toss. And of course, Walter Dix. "67 points. Florida State is your national champion." Downstairs to Dwight Stones.
All right, Ian, I'm with Coach Bob Brayman. And Coach, you really did it with incredible balance. I mean, you guys were all over the place. 7 points coming into today, scoring 60 in the last 2 hours. How did you manage that?
Well, we just said all of our kids concentrate on their single event, because you got 8 potential scoring things, and you've got LSU isn't going to miss much. So we just didn't want to think about that. Just do what we have to do, see how it comes out. And the seniors, the veterans came through, and it really snowballed for us.
Well, you had a lot of guys that were sort of hurting in the middle of the competition. Both Curry and Johnson were 4th at one point, then came back in the final couple of rounds to win it. Then you've got your 1,500-meter guy gets 8. Walter Dix seems to come back from the dead. I mean, really incredible timing.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, I couldn't have expected that. I thought nobody would get 60 points, and you know, we were lucky enough to do that. And, you know, you have to do it when you have a chance, because it's not guaranteed to anybody.
We need to talk to you and Ralph Spry a little bit about creating the drama. This thing's supposed to go down to by the 4x400 relay, and the thing is wrapped up way too fast for us.
Yeah, you don't want to have a 9-point lead with LSU on the track. You know, that wasn't going to happen. So we're very, very fortunate. And the distance guys got to run their race without a lot of pressure, and that was great, too.
Well, congratulations on the national title, Coach.
Appreciate it very much.
Well, Florida State has written a championship script here today. The Seminoles winning their first team title. A lot of great action throughout the day here on CBS Sports. Over the course of the 4 days of competition, we're glad to be a part of it. Live from Sacramento, much more to come. Keep it here.
CBS Sports presents Championships of the NCAA, sponsored by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA. Coca-Cola, official fan refreshment of the NCAA. And by the Hartford. We know you're not preparing to retire. You're preparing to live.
As we rejoin you here in Sacramento, California, told you about the men's story, women's story, some history for Auburn. Tigers win the national championship. First time they've done that in the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. And we are set for the women's 4x400-meter relay. Oftentimes, the championship will come down to this event. Not the case here.
No such drama this year, but it still promises to be a very good women's 4x4. It's not for the team title, it's for pride.
Miami in lane number 5, South Carolina in lane number 8. 2 teams to keep your eye on. Also, lane number 4, Texas A&M, and 400-meter winner Clora Williams will be anchoring for their team. Janu Etienne of Miami had the fastest split in the qualifying rounds, running 50.4. And one team that is absent is University of Texas. They have only not made the finals in the 4x4 4 times since the women have competed in the NCAA.
Well, it really turned out to be a disappointing weekend for Texas as a whole. And even when things were looking up today, it came back and bit them with the disqualification. Bev Kearney had to see Melaine Walker disqualified earlier in the hurdles. 3-turn stagger in the women's 4x400-meter relay. Chiquita Martin will run the opening leg for South Carolina out of lane 8.
Miami with the collegiate leader this year, 3:27.85. They're running in lane number 5.
Texas A&M is in the white in lane 4.
And moving well in the white in lane 4, I might add.
LSU also wearing white in lane 3.
Interesting that Miami in lane 5 is leading off with Krista Simpkins. She's just a freshman, but look at her come on here. Her job is to make sure that she sets up Gino Etienne for her second leg.
Well, LSU with Brooklyn Morris, the sophomore, is really running an outstanding leg in lane number 3.
And she'll hand off first here in lane 3 for LSU.
So Brooklyn Morris to Miss Hugh Francis for LSU.
51.5, first leg for Brooklyn Morris. Miami struggled 53.8. Now let's see if Gino Etienne can make up some ground for Miami.
And she's going to have a tall order, but here she is coming right back down and closing that gap now on Francis of LSU.
And Tennessee, Courtney Champion running the second leg, the sophomore for the Lady Vols.
Leg 2 is usually where you put your sprinter because you have to sprint around that turn and cut for the inside once you get on the turn. And here we're seeing a great leg by Miss Hugh Francis of LSU.
And Etienne for Miami, turning it on.
Whoa, she is running everyone down. Unbelievable leg. They were in 4th position when they got the baton, handing off right in the lead.
Etienne handing it off to Ina Lefroy, a freshman for Miami. The ground that Etienne made up in that second leg.
And look at Juanita Brota. She's decided, you know what? Here's the chance to break this race open. I don't want any of this traffic anywhere near me. She is going out in this first 200 as if her life depends on it.
LSU, Miami. LSU with the lead.
And LSU has the history in this event. They have won 3 of the last 5 women's 4x4s and 12 times in their history. This is a phenomenal leg by Juanita Brodas. She has blown this race wide open.
So LSU will have the sizable lead going into the anchor leg.
And if I'm Deanna Lawrence, I'm so happy. Here it is, the anchor leg in the 4x4, and I have a 10, now 15-meter lead on the entire field.
Cynthia Rooks, 51.4 for that leg to really break this race open for LSU.
And Deanna Lawrence in front of Dominique Darden of Miami.
Dominique Darden doesn't appear to be able to make a dent in this lead that LSU has right now.
4x400. This is LSU's race.
LSU has such a history in this event, and it continues today. Deanna Lawrence, just a sophomore, anchors LSU, and they're going to win by a clear margin. The race now is for second.
Lawrence brings it home for LSU. Miami will take second place with Dominique Darden, and Arkansas emerges in third with Dominique Boatwright running the anchor for the Razorbacks.
Cora Williams, the 400 champion, anchored for Texas A&M in 40.
As we see the replay here, this is the third leg here by Juanita Brodas. She is the one that broke this race right open. Look at this third leg. She's going out as though she's running a 200 meters. Look at the pack behind her. They have not responded to the way that she's going out. Look at the difference in leg speed between the athlete on the left and everybody else on the right. She decided, you know what? If you guys want to come catch me, it's going to be a race to 200, and then we'll see who has enough strength to come on home.
I think what they thought was that she was going to come back, but at that point the race was over and no one was going to touch Deanna Lawrence. The sophomore, she ran a 50.7 anchor leg, which was one of the fastest on the team, so they did not slow down at all.
Fastest time in the world this year, 3:25.78 for LSU, winning the 4x400. Miami second, Arkansas third, and we check in with Dwight.
Let's talk to the second leg first. Miss Hugh Francis, you really broke this race open. Talk a little bit about the tradition of LSU in this race.
Well, LSU has been known for winning 4x4s throughout the years, and we just wanted to come here and end the meet with a good run.
Deanna Lawrence, the anchor, how nice was it to see that you had about 15 meters when you received the baton?
Good. I just want to bring home the victory for the team. We've been training real hard. we've been losing some really close races, so we just wanted to win when it counted, and that was national.
Well, there was nothing close about this one. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, Dwight, LSU with Deanna Lawrence wrapping it up in the 4x400 meter relay. Strong showing from LSU all around. Women's competition, though, belongs to Auburn. It is over. Second place to USC, just inching out South Carolina for third. LSU wins the 4x400 meter relay. Men are next. We're winding down in the 2006 NCAA Track and Field Championships live from Sacramento, California, with more on some of the field events. Let's check in with Dwight Stones.
Wrapping up some things here. First, the women's shot put. This is Laura Garrity, the senior. She missed last year due to an almost career-ending wrist injury that she had surgery on. Last throw, 60 feet, 1 1/4. Michelle Carter, the daughter of Michael Carter, the Olympic silver medalist, had a chance to come back on her 6th and final throw. She had led through 3. How happy is Laura Garrity? The North Carolina senior wins the title, the only one over 60 feet today. And in the women's pole vault, Chelsea Johnson does not like Sacramento State. She was 4th in the Olympic trials 2 years ago. She takes the lead early with this 13.7 1/4 clearance. She is the collegiate record holder at 15.1. But Lacey Jansen of Florida State, who also had a part of the collegiate record earlier this year, clears 13.11 1/4 on her second attempt. Johnson makes it on her third. She loses it on misses. Jansen, the winner, under 14 feet, unheard of in the women's pole vault at this level anymore.
All right, Dwight, thanks very much. Final event, it's on the track. The men's 4x400 meter relay. LSU has been dominant in this event.
They were dominant in the qualifying rounds, and they didn't have half of their team out there. So it's going to be unbelievable to see how fast they can run when they've added Xavier Carter and Kelly Willie on the team.
And Xavier Carter, of course, we saw him win the 100 today. We saw him win the 400. LSU has also won the 4x1. So here's a chance for history for the X-Man. Can he score 40 points at this meet? Almost unheard of at this level.
Almost unheard of, just about unheard of. Jesse Owens, last one to do it. 1936, when he was at Ohio State.
You better believe that the LSU team knows we want to do this definitely for ourselves, but definitely for the X-Man.
Quentin Summers of Baylor, the freshman, leading off, and Baylor also has a great tradition in 400 meter running. A couple Olympic champions came out of that program. Also Matt Shear from Oregon running the second leg. The senior had the fastest split yesterday at 44.4, and they put their best man on second leg.
Second leg is the leg that can absolutely break one of these races wide open.
So LSU will go Dardar, Willie, Rogers, and Carter in that order. Baylor with Summers, Teeter, Mutai, and Witherspoon. We're underway in the men's 4x400 meter relay.
And Dardar's already out to a really good start for LSU. You have to be thinking that these guys want to give Xavier Carter an easier anchor leg. Let's see what LSU can do on this first leg.
Baylor dropping back a little bit, but out there is TCU with Chi Chavez is moving very well on the outside, and right now he looks like he's ahead, but LSU with Dardar, he is right there too and starting to close a little bit.
And Dardar experienced part of that championship meet record-setting team from last year.
Baylor's also just woken up and smelled the coffee because they're closing fast.
Just about even with LSU and TCU at this point on the second leg. Remember, though, the person on the inside has the advantage because he gets the cut now for the inside at the cones.
Kelly Willie, the Olympian, and multiple national championships in relay events, running the second leg for LSU.
And Dardar leads off for LSU in 45.8, a very good leadoff leg by Dardar for LSU.
Delwayne Delaney of TCU just behind Willie, with Baylor running third right now, and Mark Teeter.
Now, Kelly Willie bringing it in now for LSU. Remember, this is someone who has international experience. He has a relay medal from the Olympic Games.
Handoff Willie to Melville Rogers, the junior for LSU, running the third leg.
Wow, Kelly Willie, 44.8 for second leg for LSU, and that is exactly why you're seeing this huge gap open up for the LSU Tigers.
And I said it at the top of the race. If you can break this race open on second leg, it makes the race a lot easier. Now, third leg and fourth leg have a much easier job.
Well, Melville Rogers is doing his job on the third leg for LSU, and guess who's waiting? The X-Man.
But it's also very difficult in this point. These guys are probably looking at a collegiate record running faster, and it's so hard to run in front and to continue to turn over. Look at Baylor storming back, though.
Now, Xavier Carter has a lead of about 15 meters. The question is, are they really going after the record? Xavier Carter can probably hold this lead on his own fine. He is the 400-meter champion. But at the same time, does he have enough left to really go after this championship record that they set themselves last year right here on this track?
Reggie Witherspoon is the anchor for Baylor, but look at the lead right now for Xavier Carter.
And Xavier Carter had to be smiling, seeing Melville Rogers coming and handing him the stick. But here we have a huge battle for second place.
We'll keep an eye on the clock. Record is 2:59.59. Xavier Carter. He's not going to get the record, but he will make history. For the first time in 70 years, an individual male has won 4 NCAA titles in one championship. The last one to do it, Jesse Owens, 1936.
But I also want to point something out on that last turn. There was a little shuffling on the last turn, and there's a yellow flag raised. So while LSU is well clear of the rest of the field, there might be some type of disqualification in positions second and third, or possibly second, third, and fourth. But nobody can say anything to LSU because they set a blistering pace, and Kelly Willie just really busted this thing open with that 44.8.
A great race by Kelly Willie, and I said second leg is critical because that's the person that can really set up the second half of your relay. And at this point, everybody was able to hang with him, but towards the second, look at that gear that he just shifted right there. He knows if I get this stick in with a lead, that's it. We've won the national title for the second year running.
And I think they also realize, as Kelly Willie also anchored the 4x1, they also realize that Xavier Carter could be tired. So that puts a lot more pressure on the other men on the team to give him a big enough lead so that he does not have to work too hard. Right here, he looks very relaxed, but let me tell you, that man is tired. He's done 100, a 200, and a quarter today.
He has to be. The workhorse of the meet anchors LSU to another NCAA title.
Downstairs, Dwight Stones.
Xavier, we got to stop meeting like this. 4 titles you were a part of or won individually. First man to do that since Jesse Owens back in the 30s. I know that has to mean something to you.
Yeah, it means a lot. It really hasn't kicked.